Greetings, everyone. Saturday Talk with Saul here. Your boy Saul. Or, well, I guess you could say it's Sunday. Usually these are recorded on Saturdays, but sometimes they don't get recorded until Sunday. So you could just say it's a weekend talk with Saul. So, today we're going to discuss something that's a really big problem in America right now: healthcare. More specifically, dental care. But we'll go into both. So, as we all know, oral health is the most essential part of your overall health. Because if your oral health goes to crap, so does the rest of your health. For example, you can get a dental infection. It can spread, can get into your bloodstream, and it can end you. So, why do we live in a country where you can only afford the necessary dental care you need if you net an income in excess of 30 grand a year? And even then, you're probably still cutting it close. So let's say 40, 50 grand a year. Now, with the national minimum wage at $7.25 still, it's crazy. You can fly to Cuba and get all your teeth pulled and replaced for 5 grand. And the media will say, oh, well, you're not going to get the best care. You're not going to get good care. You're probably going to get an infection. Yeah, maybe. But I have my doubts about honesty in our media, and I hope you can understand why. Here's the thing. Candy is pushed on our children. Kids love candy. I myself loved candy. And you know what? Candy costs you your teeth. A lot of candies in America are actually designed to destroy your enamel, to destroy your teeth. Now, I invite you to do your own research, do your own digging, and tell me if you can conclude what I'm about to introduce as a concept. Imagine this. Let's say, I think, was it Mars Candies who makes M&Ms, or not M&Ms, Skittles? M&Ms too, but mostly Skittles. Okay, Skittles are among a lot of children's favorites. They're a tasty candy, right? Well, what if the executives of Mars or whoever makes Skittles is also invested in the dental industry? So, for example, when the dental industry is doing good, they make even more money off the stocks. Why is it that candy is cheap? Cheaper than healthy food, cheaper than dental care. And yet, for one tooth being replaced, costs as much as a full set in another country. If you lose teeth, you're not treated like a human being by the industry. You're treated like a piggy bank. You're treated with a lot of apathy, a lot of indifference, and your dentist might notice several cavities all next to each other, but might only operate on the most intense one and not let you know about the other ones, knowing that eventually it'll get bad and then you'll be back in for more money to give them. So you can find yourself in a situation where by the time you're a young adult, you've lost all your enamel from all the soda and all the things that we're encouraged by the many commercials we see every 2.5 minutes, always longer in duration than the actual showtime we get to watch, trying to push products on us. For example, Coca-Cola. Did you know that Coke can be used as a cleaner? Yeah. Do you really want to be drinking something that you could use to clean your kitchen? Did you know that if your daughter gets gum stuck in her hair, you can get it out with Coca-Cola? Yeah. And then you take in consideration the aspartame, the high fructose corn syrup. And the funny thing about aspartame is I didn't notice it until I stopped drinking products that had it for several years. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to have a Coke. And so I did. And I had to go to the doctor because I thought I was coming down with COVID. Turned out I was perfectly fine. But the sudden introduction of aspartame back into my body was mimicking the symptoms of an oncoming cold. I felt dizzy, I felt weak, I felt sick. And then I looked up aspartame and learned that it's an immune suppressant. It actually attacks your immune system, much like HIV. They put that in our drink. Then you take potassium sorbate, preservative. I had a friend who studied nutritional science. He educated me about potassium sorbate. Did you know that potassium sorbate is like a mama chicken, a hen, to an egg? Imagine that egg is a cancer cell, and imagine the hen is potassium sorbate. The potassium sorbate sits on that cancer cell and incubates it, nourishes it, helps it grow and develop and multiply, keeps it good and strong. Now, how much you want to bet that these companies are in bed with the healthcare industry? And then they jack up the healthcare prices so that not only can we not afford it, but we're always sick. We're always suffering. We're always struggling. And we're always paying. So, what do we do about this? Do we petition? Do we sign? Or do we really just let that sink in? All our loved ones lost, the quality of our life lost for these mofos, punks' greed? Remember this, America. Brothers and sisters, remember this. There are more of us than them. We are the people. Do not forget the Constitution. You have rights. You are a human being. You are not a slave. You are not a product. You are not an asset. You are not a cash cow. You have been exploited. You have been wronged. And you have been lied to. And they know you're suffering. And they actively lie in your face and tell you it's your fault and that you're not grateful enough. And if you support them, then you're a patriot. No. Patriot is a term that defines the men and women who built this country during the Revolutionary War. They were patriots standing up against tyranny. Now we have the far radical red, the commies, pulling a double reversal on all of us and claiming that we're all commies because we see this stuff. They endorse it. They support it. We are the lower half. We are the poor. We are the impoverished. We are the workers. They are the upper class, the so-called elites, the upper middle class, the wealthy, the people who gross in excess of 100 grand a year, people who are sitting comfortable, the people who feel like everything is fine because for them personally, it is. But tell me this. Why is it that if you're about to pass away of a dental infection and you call it in as an emergency, they won't see you for a month and they put you on a waiting list, and then you struggle to even get your insurance accepted. And then your president tries to cut down the insurance even more to where it's even harder to get places to accept your insurance. And then say you work a job that doesn't give you benefits and you have no choice but to get on state insurance. You're a hard-working, tax-paying American, and you're being told by your billionaire president, who is a second-generation American, that you're not good enough and you don't deserve to live like he does. Well, I don't know about him, but my ancestors helped forge this country. They came here with nothing in 1623, and they helped build this nation. His didn't. His grandfather came over here during World War I and exploited us dirty. How'd he come into all that money? Why was it that Frederick Drumpf ended up wealthy enough to pass on an inheritance to his son, who then somehow ended up with even more to pass on to his son? Do your research. Read up on Frederick Drumpf and Fred Trump. The scandals that went on, the things he was accused of, and observe the tactics that he used in his time. And consider the possibility that maybe he taught those tactics to his son, and then he taught those tactics to his daughter, who is now using those tactics on Albania with her husband. You know what communist Russia looked like, Soviet Russia? There was the higher-ups, the politics, and then there was the business leaders. And they were all in bed together. And they hoarded the nation's wealth at the cost of everybody else. And everyone else was suffering. Everyone else was miserable. Everyone else had nothing. Imagine the stereotypical images you have of Soviet Russia. It was like that because of them, the elites. That's what's about to happen to our country, because they're about to erase democracy, our right to vote, our right to choose candidates. And it's about to become a situation where it's just a few of them, roughly 10% of Americans, ruling the other 90% who live in poverty and are too scared and subdued to defend themselves or do anything about it. You want to know why my ancestors, why your ancestors, why the founding fathers put those specific things in the Constitution, in the Declaration? Why we, the people, have the Second Amendment right? Why we have the First Amendment right? Why we have rights? Because we were never supposed to let it get like this. We were supposed to put our foot down a long time ago. We've become weak, subdued, spineless lambs. But a lot of us are behaving like snakes. That needs to change. I used to have a great deal of pride in my nation. My blood is this nation's blood. My heart pumps red, white, and blue. But I have become disgusted and ashamed that we let some blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan bigot get into the White House and act like he's the president of the Confederacy, while we all suffer, dying, teeth falling out, rotting away of cancer, diabetes, and all sorts of things they infect us with. And while I'm on that topic, I want you to research something else. Look up the history of Pfizer. And around the World War II era, in the 1950s, look at who was on their executive board. Tell me if you recognize any of those names. Dig, people, and think. Don't call yourself woke if you're still one eye shut. America doesn't need you woke. America needs you wide awake, not eyes wide shut. Thanks for watching. And this is, hey, just for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a shadow behind a mask. I don't exist.